Buongiorno! Today's band is something that I'm not totally sure how to pronounce it. Is it Becerus or Becerus? I guess that depends your thing with Latin. Doesn't matter how you pronounce it. What matters is that Homo Homini Brutus, very, very Latin name, is indeed a good debut album. Now, it's a little bit peculiar, can we call it actually an album, because even though this one has some 10 tracks, it barely runs for some 25 minutes. So that kind of proves these guys are not creating very, very lengthy songs. But I mean, who cares if the quality is right? And that, my friend, is in fact very, very much so. So these guys, these three fellas, even though there's only two of them in the image, come from Italy. And they have done this album to be released in 2021 by Everlasting Spew. Now, there is one other peculiar aspect which I'm going to show to you, and it is right here. Becerus have absolutely no lyrics. Now, that is quite of a statement, if you will, because, I mean, so often bands just don't print lyrics, and that's pretty much of it. But here you have the band from Italy, Palermo, Sicily. Never been to exactly Palermo, but been to Sicily, and I can say it's pretty beautiful countryside. Well, countryside and countryside. I've been actually seeing the mountain and some of the city and eating some Italian pizzas. What this has to do with the band, I don't know at all. But here it is, my Friday afternoon, right after work. I'm mentally ready to explode. Which then again brings me to this music once again. Now, there is no exact date of when this band was founded, but clearly, if everything there is to know about this band in terms of music is 2021, we can pretty much figure out it's quite new. And even though if it would have been some 30 years old, who cares? I mean, what in essence matters how many years of existence you have had with these releases. And Homo Homini Brutus is very much a 2021 release, and in fact one of the better ones, especially when it comes to death metal releases. Now, as you can see, all the songs are short and sweet, which in my case is a very, very good thing. I'm not too much of a fan of bands that keep doing their songs some 6 to 12 minutes or so without actually having the quality content for that. The point here is so many bands seem to be expanding their songs like with kind of a filler music where in fact they could just do it boom like the old school hard rock ways, 3 minutes in and out, and that's all you need. I mean, get to the fucking point and just get to the next song, and it's all there is to say about it. And that's what Becerus is doing. Now, I couldn't care less if the band has no lyrics. I tried to listen to the very fact whenever I read the thing about lyrics, and to be honest, I couldn't figure out if they're singing actually something or is it just like, growly vocals. What matters is that those growly vocals are good, and I don't care if they don't have real lyrics or if it's just a gimmick thing here to say, because what matters is if the music is good, count me in. And these guys know how to do their death metal. You can't really go even more old school death metal than this in the brutal kind, except when you start adding thrash metal elements from the mid or late 80s. I mean, back in the days when everybody was creating death metal for the first time, you kind of hear that thrasher parts. And when you finally started, not including thrasher parts, then you had the kind of a first wave of death metal without those parts, and this is where Becerus comes in. I mean, it could very well be that these guys could have been there right on with, bands like Cannibal Corpse and the like to feature their kind of a brutal, intense, short and sweet death metal with growly vocals and proper songwriting, having a little bit melodics and leads and everything right there. And then fast tempo, of course, you add the layer of aggressiveness and all. But what matters is that these guys know when to slow down and use that as a benefit for their death metal. I mean, this is not reinventing the wheel part, but more like, let's go where we can actually handle the stuff, make it sound as if it was like classic and timeless. So in my books, this is a really, really nice sounding death metal release. Now, the only complaint might be, is it too little to be counted as a full-length album? Are you going to pay whatever a full-length album costs these days, depending on where you're going to buy it, if it runs only for 25 minutes? In my opinion, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'd rather take that Raining Blood with 29 minutes or so than just some filler stuff with 60 minutes. So there you have my point. Anyway, give Becerus a chance if you consider yourself a death metal fan. This is out already since April 29th on Everlasting Spew. get it done, get a listen to it, and enjoy it. Thanks for watching the review and all that stuff. Bye bye.